Reason why that song regenerates everything in life for me is that without faith, belief, nothing is possible. We must have something that drives us. And that faith is unshakable. The unshakable shaker, the Jehovah Jireh, is what keeps us great. The good Lord that we believe in. And that is where our breakthrough starts from. Now, I'm going to tell a bit of story about where I started from. So, the assumption of greatness is not an assumption of seeing the person or the image. That is what we count as great. It's very common that the image we see today is what we term great. I'm sure you all look at me or look at someone like Pastor Simon was talking about some history about Dangote and some other people that you know. Even looking at me, and you look at everything and you start making assumption. That cloth must be 20,000 naira or 100,000 per yard. That guy might be wearing 2,000 naira per yard, and you are making the assumption, who is having the headache, me or the other party? So a lot of the time we look at people and drive down in our heads value of image. And all we see is the image and not the substance. But what really drives you should be the substance and not the image. Because eventually substance would always overshadow image. If you throw an empty can, it will make a lot of noise. But if you throw a full can, you will hear almost nothing. That's where substance matters. My story is I'm a big believer in nothing in life is literally almost free. Nothing in life is entitled to be. One of the key things that drove me, and that's why I say that a lot of these things will be a little bit about testimony of my life and how I got there and what you should do to get there. First and foremost, I come from a house of 12 kids. A good father that believed everything he owed anybody in life was just education and not money. He'll tell you that every day of your life. And he made sure 12 of his kids went to the best schools that he could afford. So rather than building hundreds of houses, this man dedicated all his vision to the children. And two things he dedicated to them. He believed succession planning is built first from education and creating businesses that the successors can attain or run. So in his own case, he said, look, at his young days, by the time he's a proper grass to grace story, so I won't say I am, because my sister would say she drank akamu, I drank SME. I agreed. So she drank akamu because it was one bedroom in the Ibutemeta. By the time I was born, he was in his own house in Ilupeju, in a 7-bedroom house. So it's a different ball game entirely. So the person that drank akamu, I drank SME, is not my fault. So I told her that. But I think the man overcompensated because she was one of the first at primary school to go to school in the UK. We didn't go at primary school. So I don't know why the woman keeps talking about akamu. But the reality is that is what happened. Now, but irrespective, I grew up in a house where if you are first, second, third, first, automatic ticket to London. If you are not, most likely you went every 2 years because the man had to renew the visa. And so some of us like me go every 2 years. The people that went in between, we know them. But that is not the story. For whatever path God has given you, for whatever path your direction is, we make a mistake that our path is determined by man. It is not. In some way, God in his way finds in his own wisdom to keep your path in such a way that nobody notices till the time for you to shine comes. for you to shine is not based on who was first at the beginning. But today, I'm richer than the man. So, was it about who was going to be first? Or who, at the time, God says, it is time for me to take you up, to rise you beyond everybody, to rise you beyond your mates. That is the key. The time of God is not the time of man. We need to always put that, which makes us follow the right path and be disciplined. When you believe the time of God is not that of man, you'll be disciplined to focus on your vision. Always have a vision. Because in your vision that you're chasing, so if I take you back to it, so I used to complain a lot at the age of 12. In Yoruba, my father's house is, they call it Ileoko, because he's always training people. He's one of those that believe education is key to everything. So as many people, family members, as long as the word education, that man will send you to school. So we were in a household filled with people that came and actually lived with us, with him sending them to primary school, secondary school, university. So invariably, when you have aunties and uncles living with you, you have multiple trainers. And he's an old school trainer who believes everybody older than you literally is your trainer. So if they beat you, he beat you more. So I wasn't in a household where you think everything was fun. So at the age of 12, at that time we had moved to GRA in Ikeja. This was my change in life. One, to have faith in God. Two, to also have something that changes your life. And my own change in life was one of my aunties, who is like a second mom to me. And she's literally brought me up with my mom. And she said to me one day, I was complaining. I said, this woman travels. This man travels. What did they bring? And I used to complain a lot. And because I felt a spirit of entitlement, and which is also a big problem in this country. We all feel entitled. We wake up feeling entitled. It is my father's duty, it's my mother's duty, it's my brother's duty, my sister's duty. So that everybody around you is their duty except you. That's the problem. So we start off with that problem. So I was one of those. And this woman told me one day, sat me down and said to me, said, George, I need to tell you something today, and I hope you listen well. And he said, this is your father and this is your mother. What God gave them responsibility to do was only be a vessel for you to arrive this world. And the day you arrived, their job finished. I looked at that woman and said, she's talking rubbish. How can you be saying my parents' job finished the day they gave back to me? But what she was being philosophical, she then narrated and continued. At the point where they got you into this world, if you accept that the job finished, you will expect nothing from them. Now, I could later on deduce the philosophy. The closest people in life to you would always be your parents, because they're the first people that you wake up to see in your life. They're the people that will take care of you. If you expect nothing from them, the rest of the world, would you? That was what the philosophy was all about. On that day, she said, you will expect nothing from them, and if you expect nothing from them, you would never be disappointed. And on that day, I took it as my second Bible. I started behaving like an orphan. In a house in GRA Ikeja, we're not renting. I've known driver all throughout my life. And by the time I was Form 4, I said to my father, I said, you see this, I don't want to go to school with this driver again. All of them are going to school. Let me go and enter bus. And on my own consciousness, because I had started looking at life differently. How do I provide? And I stopped looking at life as, what is he going to give me? Or what is she going to give me? And that was the game changer of my own life. I stopped looking at everything he had as mine. And I started looking at, what can I create to be mine? So it changes the philosophy of that entitlement of my parents to the entitlement of the belief that I need to add value to whatever I do in my life. And sincerely, the man gave me bus fare. And me and my friends, Nigeria was good in those days. You had Nigerian Airways, and they would enter bus going to my school in Command in those days. And all of us would go and jump at Shogunle. Oshodi, 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 Oshodi. We're jumping at Modlu. I didn't jump on Tamfo. And we did that for 2 years. I enjoyed it because I did actually go to practice, choir practice with my aunties. And my father would give them money for tea fare on taxi. They would jump inside bus. They were not in the same category. And I jumped in with them anyway because we're going to the same church. It invariably molded our thought process to change from the entitlement of belief that everything of everybody you deal with is their entitlement to say yes to you. Now, this drives back to the business format. Why do we think when we borrow, the first set of people, when you start a business, is to go to your family members, then your friends. Then they say fools. It's called the FFF. Now, the fools are generally not fools. It's just people that don't know anything about business, that just still later on, they don't understand the investment, but they still give you. But they're not related to you. So you have the friends, family, friends, and fools. Those are the first people you would go to when you want to start any business. Now, I beg to ask this question. Why do we think when we ask our family members money and they borrow us this money, we think it shouldn't be paid back? 99% of people, when they borrow from their family, already feel that money is an entitlement. Immediately you feel that money is an entitlement, you're already believing you should not pay back. And when you start feeling you should not pay back, it tends to argue at integrity issues and character issues start playing. Now, what people don't understand is that we calculate risk in our mind unconsciously. So when you have risk appetite in the banking sector, sorry, I'm going to be a bit technical, but I'll explain it in simple English. When you say risk, which means it's not the risk in the sense of why would I want to do it in my mind, is that person going to pay back? You're already calculating a risk. Now, when you pay that person or give that person funds or money, and the person pays back, you de-risk yourself because the person that you paid back has collected money back. So next time you come, they'll be more interested to give you again. But when you don't pay back, can I have water if you don't mind? Yeah, when they don't pay back, you have a problem. Because the person that you didn't pay back remembers. So when you begin a business, you start with your savings. You need to have a culture of savings. We need to have imbibed savings culture. Quite a bit. I was opportune to also read Pastor Simon's book. I think when I was reading it, I felt like it was repeating everything I teach. But I'm sure he's been teaching it for longer than I have. So it's quite incidental. Can you have somewhere I can put this? I'm afraid this will slide. Okay, right. So invariably, when you look at this scenario that you borrow from your friends, when you start off a business, you want to start up a business. Why do I want to start up the business? Why do I want to work well? Look, there are two ways. We always look at it. It's not everybody that has to be an entrepreneur. It is not everybody that has to be a startup business. But you're an entrepreneur even where you're working. What value? I always ask people, it is not the name on your card, the name on the door, but the chair you sit that will everybody know. If I know your chair before I know your name, you have added value. The question you should ask yourself, the chair you sit on, does everybody in your business know it? If they do, you've already achieved because you've been noticed. It is not the title. We get title into our head. The same way we look at the form of entitlement, title easily comes into our head. One of my first remarkable things happened at the age of 17. I sold a whole container of Exeter for my father. And I do business, so I've been doing business since I was 12. But I won't cheat anybody. I didn't steal my father's money. And one day, we worked part-time, and I felt sorry for him. For the first time, I'm doing my own business. After school, I'm doing my own. And I use his warehouse, so he sees my goods in his warehouse. But he'll never ask me, George, where did you get this money from? As long as nobody's coming to query him, he trusts that you're doing the right thing. So, I didn't feel entitled. Never went to him to borrow any money. Till today, at least I'm the only one not willingly. I'll collect whatever I collect. Because I don't feel entitled, I collect whatever he gives and I walk away. So whatever else, I must create. So, but in between it, I was doing business while I was in Finished Jam. And I was in his office. And they had this container of Exeter. And I know my father is not is not your trader who is going to change date on the cans. And at 17 or 18, it was 4 months away from expiry. And I felt sorry for him. He had managers that had more titles than getting up. They were now having so much title on their head that to get up and even go and market was a difficulty. They saw it, and he did more work than even his managers. And for the first time, I said, you know what, let me just go and solve this man's problem. And I walked to his office. I said to the man, can I help you sell this container of Exeter? That was our first business transaction. And he looked at me. My chairman, when he's in his office, is not your daddy anymore. He's chairman. So chairman looks at my face, looks at this young man, asking him, very serious, there's no smiling. Yes, you can. I said, but there's one condition. He said, what? Money was money in those days anyway. I said, I need 20 naira. He looked at me, what does this man need 20 naira for? I said, look, I need to go and market, so I need some money for transport, money for this, money for... I broke it down, he accepted. I said, I need one can of Exeter sample. He said, he accepted. No problem. I said, there's one more clause. You must give me commission. He looked at me. He said, so how much do you want? I'm sure Pastor Simon will laugh on this. I said 10% of his total container. I was a young guy. In hindsight, I shouldn't be asking for 10% of anybody's turnover. 10% is not profit. So the man argued 2.5%. I agreed. I walked away with my 20 naira, went to Shomolu to meet my cousin, who were there. My uncle was into printing press, made a nice business card for myself, termed these 14 companies on one side, put the logo, gave myself sales director. It's all about the marketing. So the assumption was I wasn't lying. I'm still part of the company, but after he didn't give me sales director, I gave myself sales director. I had a business card and did the other things, walked away from there. That one cost me half of the money. And I went to Lagos Island, Issa Williams to be precise. Went to meet a friend of mine that I knew that dealt in wine business, because I also sold wine at 18. So I was a dealer in everything. And nothing illegal, please. So please don't do anything, Dodgy. It's not worth your while, please. I'll still go back into that quickly. So in between it, and this is the short part of it, one can of Exeter, met another gentleman called Basil there, marketed. In those days, the fraud was, see your goods in the store, buy it, go back, it is no more there. So we didn't have 419 of online banking here. You had people with telephones that you had to do, everybody knows in that age. And so my biggest worry was people getting that wrong impression. So I would enter there. I spoke to this gentleman about our product, marketed him, told him what we do. Say what he sees, what you should buy. Don't go and come, please. Then leaving that gentleman, I walked from the beginning of Issa Williams to the end of Issa Williams. Every store I saw a can of Exeter, I would walk in, introduce myself, and market my one can. It wasn't about title. It wasn't about George Onafowokan, the son of Ashwaju. You get that into your head and put that on your wall. In my office, there's no name on the wall. I'm not the MD. When I'm there, I'm like anybody else. Every door, no name. Any table, no name. You make the name on your door. You make the name on your chair. You impact lives every time. Everybody knows what your chair means. Everybody will notice you in your business. Everybody will notice you in life. It is the chair you sit on they remember. It is not the name on the title that you have put on the name on your name card or on the name on the wall. People forget that. But never forget the name of the person that sat on that chair. And that was the difference. I did not take a title on my head. I did not look at who I have. I did not look at that I'm bigger than whoever is the next person I walked into. Every store on the whole of Issa Williams. And in between that, on day 3, Basil, and the second name I'll never forget because the man bears the same name as my father, Solomon and Solomon. These two gentlemen got off from their seats, came to my father's warehouse in Maturi, and in 1 week cleared the whole container. And on that day, everybody in the building knew my name. They didn't know, they didn't say whether it's the son of the chairman. It is George Onafowokan. That is the guy we need to know. You make your own impact. Grace goes before all of us. The good Lord that we serve goes before all of us. We just don't know when to use our opportunity and use it the right way. We can read the Bible 100 times, but if you do not use your grace the way it's supposed to be used, it will stay within you and it will not manifest anything. I pray God manifest every grace in our life in Jesus' mighty name. We need to manifest our grace. We need to see beyond what everybody is seeing. And later in life, my father said, on that day, I stopped worrying about you. He said to me, he said, on that day, I was not worried. I was now more worried that you want to read. Because now you know how to make money. But it's good. Because now he became more patient with me. When it came to education, I think he became the most patient with me. I think he was literally begging me to do education. He was least worried about my ability to make it in life. And on that day, he said to me, he said, I knew you were going to head one of my business. I didn't even ask for business that I want. I didn't even want to work for him. That's the reality. And I came back to this country with my own business, with him being my customer, with him owing me $250,000 the day I landed Nigeria. I didn't need to work for him because I didn't have the mentality of what he owned anymore. I didn't want what he owned anymore. I don't need what he has anymore. You must believe it is not where you're born. It is not where you grew up. It is not what circumstances put you in a position that means you will make it in life. It is you and your faith in that God that you believe in and the manifestation of grace that gets you there. And that is how we need to believe. When we start up a business, you need to get people to believe. When you have a business, I mentor people, and I ask this question. I think one of my mentees is even here. There was a previous mentoring team that I had. And I asked them, one thing that is different in this country, this is the only country where a good character and in good integrity is the biggest collateral you have. It is bigger than land and building. Now I'll explain why. If you go to, and I've tested it severally, if you don't get credit from your customer or your supplier, please go back there and ask for credit and do this thing for me. When you ask for this credit, please don't ask for credit on the judgment that you are going to fail. And don't ask for what you cannot do. And don't ask for credit beyond your capacity to deliver that money. Please don't. Go there and say, please, my supplier, can I get this thing on even 1 day, 2 days, 7 days? this credit for God's sake. And when you do, because you see, when you take credit from a supplier, it is not like going to Oga Hill. It is interest free. His own interest is better than everybody else. He'll give you 9 and 10%. But when you go to anybody else, your supply chain or your creditors, it's zero. Because whatever they sold to you before, they sold it for cash. If they can now sell that thing on 7 days credit, it's 7 days credit without interest. It's 7 days credit that whatever you used to trade it with, you've made profit without interest. But this is the catch. You must make sure it's paid back on time. No stories. 7 days, 7 days. Don't go there and say, my mama, something happened to my child. School fees went. Nigerians, we can tell stories from here till tomorrow. But immediately we start telling stories, we've just made our risk high. Because the next time you come, I won't answer you. I'll just say, that man that comes, or that woman that comes and tells stories. But if you go there, irrespective, there's nobody that doesn't have challenges. Not even the guy that you think is richer than you. Everybody has challenges. Don't go there with a story. Pay. Testimony of one of my mentees. He did it for, I said they should come back in 4 weeks. He did it for 4 weeks. On the 6th week, they came back to my office for their gathering. I said, Oga, this thing is wonderful. I said, why is it wonderful? He said by week 3, he's into paint. He said by week 3, the same company that gives him materials for paint said, Mr. Raphael, your payment has been fantastic. Management has noticed. We have now called you. We want to increase your credit. And now that we want to increase your credit, we want to turn it to 30 days. And they gave him additional 2 million naira in credit. And today, that credit has built a bigger business. Because he didn't have 2 million naira. And later on, he sent me a testimony of his next move. And I had bought a new machine because I teach people retain earning. As you make money, retain. Don't spend all the money you make. You know, we don't delay gratifications in Nigeria. And the major reason why we do not delay gratification is we live for the lifestyle. Majority of businesses I see, small or big, they live for lifestyle. This business must buy me a car every 2 years, end of story. As long as it buys the car, end of story. It must build me a house every 5 years. As long as it buys the house every 5 years, all good. Or it must make sure I'm paying this lifestyle. Why not sacrifice for tomorrow? Delay gratification. I sacrificed 18 years of 98% of profit. And on the 20th year, sincerely, I can retire. I can retire today and not go to work ever again. But it made, I looked at everything 20 years ahead. And I didn't have 1 kobo when I started. But today, I can retire. Everybody will look at me, this man says he can retire. Sincerely, I can. Because there's nothing in the world today I say I want, I haven't owned. So what else do I want? So the car itself, when they give me, I say it's too much to excess. I get confused. But you build it to it. It doesn't happen overnight. Don't assume that the person that has, life is like a marathon. It is not a sprint like it's a boat. If all of us start, if you look at most marathons, they're like 5,000-10,000 people. It's a sprint, there's 8 of them. They're only running 10 seconds or less. But if it's a marathon, each individual has their own strategy. If you run too fast, by the time that guy gets to 10 kilometers, even the guy walking will pass him. So, it's like, do not look at your neighbor as being better today, that tomorrow you will not be greater than the neighbor. Our time in life and on earth is ordained by God. Whether people trip you, stop you, As long as the mentality is not your entitlement, it is not, their yes is not the end of the world. Their no is not the end of the world. It makes you strive longer, strive more. You need to be positive thinking in your mentality. Look, there is nobody that doesn't have negatives happening to them. But it's like a hole. If you dig a hole and you believe you are negative, that hole will continue to dig deeper. But if you have positive thinking, you will continue to close it a bit. There's no amount of prayer. If you don't have faith, it's like having faith. If you're not believing faith is happening, you are not closing the hole. You take life on the negative, you live life in the negative. You take life that your faith is going to take you there, you will live life in the positives. So, two realms of life. Take it in the positive, take it in the negative. So, if you take that business that you own, if you take that business and say, if for everything I'm putting in, this is my vision. And for me, for everybody that is in business, please, business, personal, working, have a 10-year vision. That's one of the things that made me do well. Always have a 10-year vision of your life. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? If you don't know that answer, leave that business or leave that work. You don't know where you're going. You must know where your 10-year vision is. You know why? It gives you staying power. You see, when you have a vision that is that long, you will have a focus. Then you have one thing that you must have from the beginning: discipline. You need to be disciplined enough to be focused enough to drive a vision. If you don't, you will deviate. And in Nigeria, it's very easy. You make small money, everybody will tell you, this business is a good idea, you go and do it. That business is a good idea, you go and do it. Carry your savings, go and do this one. Then you start losing money left, right, and center. I've done cable for 20 plus years, and I didn't do anything else. And everybody will come to me and say, why? Yeah. Having concentration risk. I said, I've not reached the pinnacle of one business. All of you are telling me to dive into another. Let me even reach the best of that one. Then when I have excess, let me take that excess to go and do the other one. Today, I am the biggest cable company in the continent because I focused. And I can retire. So, the person that did 10 different businesses, sincerely, is not in my position. It is easy for us to hear a lot of noise around us. A lot of people will tell you, I think you all need to go and read Pastor Simon's book. Really, because every time I'm talking now, I've read it, I've listened to it. I did it on audio, so I said, Pastor Simon's just like, philosophy of my life is this. But you must have people of positive around you. Don't drive around with people that are negative. Everybody will tell me that it's not possible to do this thing in Nigeria. I said, don't worry, believe. When I do it, you come and tell me it's possible. And I started breaking down every barrier. Breaking down every industry. You must have that positive mental. I remember one of my colleagues in the industry, well older than me, more than 15 years ago, said, George, we can never beat these Chinese, we can never beat these Indians, we can never beat these French people, we can never, because they pioneered it in Nigeria. The day I started beating them, every single one of them, and I'll sit on the table, and now they will defer to me to say the last word. And that was what used to happen in those days. They're 20 years older than most of us. They've been in business since 1965, 1971, but our Nigerians just felt it is not possible to beat them. When you've defeated yourself, you've lost. When you've accepted defeat, you've lost. But when you see a challenge and say, beyond this challenge, I can overcome, your faith takes over. Your belief takes over. Your direction takes over. It's one thing to have faith, but you don't take the leap and you are saying you have faith. The faith is weakened. It's not faith. It's assumption. It's in your head. Faith that doesn't move you. I don't know what type of faith that is. Your faith must move you. Your faith must break barriers. Your faith must take you to the next level. And those are the things that make you get there. Having that belief, that faith that I can break the barrier is the first step. And in business, you need to cultivate that good character. They say there's 5 C's in credit. Character happens to be the first one. Capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions. But to me, I just take one. The rest will fall in place. That character. For me, it stipulates that you have certain level of good character. Character referencing integrity work together. They're 2 different grammar, but integrity associates itself with good character. And when people know that you have good integrity, they will leverage on it. Without you knowing unconsciously. You know, in Nigeria, I always tell you, see, banking is so easy to get along with. Because 50% of banking risk is on your character. When even if they say you have the best collateral in the world, if your character is bad, most bankers will not give you the money. Okay, I correct 90%. They won't give you the money. And when they do, what they'll do, they'll collateralize that debt times 3 because they believe you are going to fail. So that immediately you fail, whatever they get, immediately they'll get their money and sell your assets. That's why they're now not taking 110 or 150. They want 300%. They won't tell you that in your head, but they want that. Because they don't believe you're going to meet up. So they already feel that person's character is a problem. Your character referencing. You see, you don't know where you're going to go in life. Do not tell people what doesn't hold water. Do not make commitments that you cannot do. Do not tell anybody, whether in your workplace, whether in your business, what you cannot afford or guarantee to deliver. Your ability to deliver your commitment changes the philosophy of how they do business with you. I do business with people internationally, locally, and believe me, on the first day I'll be telling, and some of them say, everybody talks good about you. We're ready to do business with you, even on credit. And I sit in my office and I'll be dictating credit with them. And I had even one that I kept saying, and after a while, I'll be the one saying, don't do anymore. They say, no, we trust you. I say, it's not trust. The ability for you to give me credit is one thing. The ability for me to use it is another. And 2, if I know there's a crisis, I would not want to put your own business in trouble as well as mine. You must consciously care about the next person. Look, we don't lift ourselves and take a blessing and think everybody around us does not matter. For me, my own blessing in life stems from if I grow, everybody in my team must grow. If they don't grow, me, I'm not happy. To the last worker in my place must grow in life. I will question myself if I don't see growth in them. So, but I will tell them my vision. If it's difficult, and I have had difficulties where I had to restructure a business for 4 years, froze salary for 4 years, and I lost nobody in my management team. Nobody left. But the day I solved the problem, I tripled their salary immediately. I said, thank you. Don't forget your yesterdays because your today looks better. Your yesterday made today. Your today will make tomorrow. But we forget our yesterday because we think the grace of God has blessed us to this level. He can take it away. Because we would be tested. And I felt my own 4 years was my test. And I passed in flying colors. And today, in short, everybody believed I did the impossible. Because they felt no Nigerian could even do that. And today I can sit and command any figure that I want without having to get off my back of my seat. I can send text messages to bankers and say that I want this amount of money, and believe me, by the Monday it's done. And that is how you build your business. So you build it on character. You know, there's a particular verse in the Bible that says, Proverbs 11:3. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by the duplicity. Look, you are upright. People will tell you are stupid. You are dumb. You are not smart. Why are you not collecting money under the table? Why are you not doing this? You don't know where that time will come. I was looking at the video of Pastor Emeka, happens to be my parish pastor. He was here last week. And I was watching the video. And he made the same testimony of what God did 6 years after he did right. You don't have to bend all the rules in the books to think you'll get there faster. The faster you get there doesn't mean, it is not how fast, it is how well. If you get there well, it stays with you forever. If you get there fast, it also can leave as fast as it came. So please, believe that integrity, that character you are portraying is nothing short of you believing that faith is your tomorrow and it's your betterment of tomorrow. So let your business, when you're building it, let it come first. Let your business become your big brother, your mother, your father. You know why I keep telling people to do that? The same way you respect your parents. If you don't respect your business that is paying you the salary, please don't assume because you set up the business you are the egmo, you are the aburu. Because that business generates the money that makes you live. Assume that, and believe me, your business will survive longer than you think. Because the minute your business is older, bigger than you, if you want to buy a car, and that business needs a machine, believe me, you let the business buy a machine and leave the car aside. Because you accept that business is more important than your personal gains. Because your tomorrow, if that business buys that machine, yields more money, your tomorrow is better. You see, when we make money, we need to save majority. You see, the first 2-3 years of any business is stemmed on how well you've saved, not how well you spent. When you save, you are cascading profit for yourself. I started a business with 100,000. I made 20%. So I'm going to give figures. I made 20%. That means I made 20,000. But inside that 20,000, I kept 80%. I kept 16,000. I only spent 4,000. You add 16,000 back to the 100,000. It changes the game the next year. You see, we are too image dependent sometimes to lose the focus on the greater tomorrow. And you see, this image defending, you see, when you're building a business, it is important you earn the trust of the business, you build the business, you work for your pennies so that the pennies can develop your greater tomorrow. And in between it, you need certain things to play hand. You need to actually have vision. And in the vision, you need to have vision defenders. Why I say it is that I call it cultural risk. We have a problem in our culture. It's controversial when I say it, but you're going to accept it. Because you all know that this is our problem, but people will not like this. Because we have parents, I'm also a parent. So, one of our biggest problems is that the day a child is born, that child is in debt. Are you accepting? Because in our culture, we automatically believe that child's responsibility is to take care of both the parents and the siblings as they are born. So, the day we get God that sent me helper, it's a good thing. It's a lot of pressure on the child. But it's a good thing. I take care of my parents. So I didn't say don't take care of yours. Please, I think I took care of my parents. And I didn't ask for anything, and I'm still taking care of. But we don't know how to manage it. So I'm not saying don't do it. Now let me explain why you say vision defenders. When you have, culturally, our belief is that we will take care of, if that baton is passed to you. And baton of passage is not age dependent. You can be the youngest, and God says in your household, you shall be the David in the house. It is not age. God passes that baton to whoever, and it's not a position where you get a thank you either. So don't assume that people should be thanking you for taking that. They will abuse you, take it. If that is your God-given reason for being on earth, He shall continue to bless you for that. But we need to have vision defenders. And what I mean by vision defenders is that when you actually have this your vision and focused on this vision, discipline is difficult because we are derailed by the expectations of our culture. Not only from the parents, even from the system. People assume the day you start working, you should bring a big car to the village. You didn't bring a big car, they'll say, this Mama Chukudi, didn't you see Papa in America's brother? Did you not see that Mercedes Benz that he brought to the house? What did your son bring? We have a problem. The comparative peer comparison is terrible in this our culture. Even within the family. Someone will compare the brother, the sister, the brother. Oh, God Almighty, it's terrible. But it is the culture. Don't run away from it. But it is how you take the drive that makes you come out of it better. You need to have vision defenders. Now, let me explain what I mean by vision defenders. For anybody's vision to be actualized, you need less noise left and right of you. You need less interference from people. You need less people making noise that what you're trying to do is not possible. So my own first set of vision defenders, if you have parents still alive, is go and find them. Speak to them about this, your 10-year vision. You must sell, you see, the same way you market it to anybody, you must market it to two of them. But take it that two of them will not understand it the same way. Accept. There's no way two people can understand your vision simultaneously. One of them will carry it more than the other. Immediately you know the one that is carrying it, hook that one. Don't complain about the other one, or don't say the other party, whether it's your mother or your father, do not complain that they didn't see it. It is not their entitlement. You should take it in faith that God has put that person as one vision. Second vision would be, if you're married, your spouse, male or female. But first vision, when you sell it, and now let me tell you how it works, and it worked for me very well. On your parents' side, the vision defender is meant to defend your vision. This child wants to get to this place. For that child to get to this place in 10 years, he would only move up in 3. He would only move up in 5. And this is his target for each move. And each move, this is his attainment of achievement. Based on, you've understood you need to save to get to this next level. Save to get to this next level. But you see, you don't want someone to say, Dayo, I need 1 million naira. That 1 million naira that you have added to the business movement is now gone to 1 million naira wahala. But because one of them understands your vision, if you say, I can only afford 100,000, they will accept to allow you and buy that patience for the next move to happen. That's why you need them to understand it. So the vision, the vendor in your parent side will drive that understanding. So when you come and your parents ask for something, that vendor will come in straight. It's like a lawyer. Any suru for Dayo. Please take patience. We know you are complaining, but let Dayo. In between, you've asked for 100, you get 10. You will be abused, but the vision defender will defend. When the time of your next move really happens, and it would happen, go back and say, that thing they didn't ask for, now do more. So your 10 moves to 50. You make the vision defender look good. Because you see, the vision defender will say, you see, Mama Dayo, I told you, look at it now. The boy has come back with this thing. The girl has come back with this thing. Please be patient. Dayo's brother, please be patient. Sister, please be patient. First time. Second time it happens again. You defend, you do a bit more. You defend, you do a bit more. By the time you do the third step, do you know everybody will just say, Mama Dayo or Baba Dayo, go and speak to your son. Because now they understand they need to buy patience. After a while, they'll stop disturbing you. Because they see that each move over time that you make, you do right by everybody. Please don't take it that you shouldn't do. Please, I never said that. You should do, but they buy you time to do better. The person that abused you today, that 10,000, the day you put 50,000, they'll pray for you. So why are you killing yourself? But not to do is also not our culture. What I say is you defend your future. You defend the future of your business. Where your spouse comes in, your spouse must know your vision. No matter what anger you think or what issues you have, a wife or husband that does not know your vision, please don't enter that thing. That's not what you want. You not telling your vision to your spouse, you don't have a defender, because they're the ones going to defend that other side of the family and be telling their family, please be patient. So you need your spouse to be defending. And at the time when God says it's also better for that, do better for the spouse. So it's not only the parents you're doing better for, you're doing also for the spouse. You'll find out you'll have less noise and you'll be more focused on that. It will discipline you. It will allow you to be focused. You will eat your vision earlier. And that's how you create success. It's to also mitigate the noise around you, but do it the right way. Don't get annoyed that they're coming. Take it, it's not your entitlement. A family member says no, it is not your entitlement. Don't, at the time God gives you grace, don't say that brother did not help me, I will not help. If God did not give you grace, would you be making that statement? He has given you grace. And when he does, you do it. And when you do, you'll be shocked that the grace just continues to mount and mount and mount. The person that abused you, that you gave, that you showed kindness, makes no difference. The person that showed you harshness, terrible behaviors, abused you, but you showed kindness back, grace comes back. Our grace is not based on how well we show people or how well we revenge. It is how well we show kindness. That the gift of God given to us is not our rights, but the grace that God has made it possible that we can do. Accept that, and believe me, in your life, you continue to see mercy. Because within grace is mercy. Because where you think opportunities are closed, you just see doors open for you. You see things turn around for you. So in this faith that we believe, we need to turn around something. And so, because I want to also ask questions, I'm going to go through one last part. Success. You know, the word success by the dictionary says the accomplishment of an aim or purpose wanted or hoped for. Successful. So, when are we deemed to have the word successful in us? Now, for me, I look at it this way. And can we all look at ourselves? Think about this statement I'm going to ask. If most people, your friends look at you and say, Pastor, Mrs., I don't know, you're a successful woman. I believe you on the day someone says that to her, when she looks left, right, front, back, 95% to 98% of those that made that statement don't know our story. Don't know what she did 5 years ago. Don't know what she did 10 years ago. Don't know what hardship her and her husband went through to get to where they are today. I'm happy all of us are nodding. So if we're all nodding, why are we worried what people think of us today? Why are we worried about the car we're driving today? Why are we worried about the image we're driving around or wearing today? If you save, create that business, it creates a better business tomorrow, they'll use the word successful. And all we are all looking for is the word success in our life. Because when success happens, everybody wants to revolve around what? God bless you. So why are you killing yourself today for the fact I want to buy a car because my friend says I am not looking good in a bigger car? Lord Almighty, I don't know why car crazy us in Nigeria. I don't change cars quickly. Me, I'm one of those that I believe car is a diminishing asset. It's in his book. I'm more Ijebu. I change car. I look at it. I give you this example. In 2001, when I came to Nigeria, my first car was a Honda baby boy, accident damage. They don't tell you that one. No. They tell you American spec. It's accident damage repair. When you see that your airbag is not is sinking. My own was sinking, so I didn't understand. It was later I found out it's accident American damage they sold me. And I was buying American spec. 400,000 naira. It was the biggest thing. That car give me a headache. But who knew that if I didn't tell you today? Why are you bothered about the image? That the word success in your life, when it's your time, and by His grace it will come, and it will be your time, and you will shine in Jesus' mighty name. And at that time, when they use the word success, you hold your head up high. And that is how you build success. It's not based on the image of today. It's what you see of yourself tomorrow that is already success. We make so much error in that ability that when we are creating businesses, we're too worried about the image. Baby boy, first car. It took 3 years for me to get that business from a minus 20 million negative balance sheet to a business that could even sustain itself. And I bought my first car. Real brand new car. It was a Pajero. Baba Jebu, I went to, so this is Jebu man, goes to negotiate himself. So I know the price off the top of my head. 8.3 million KWRams. I didn't even buy it for cash. I took it on 3-year lease. So that I can pay there. Because that money cannot go out of the business. And that was 2004, 4. The next car, at that time, business was worth, I'd moved to about $1 billion. And from 2004, I didn't buy another car to 2012. It was a Mercedes-Benz GL 500. So to know I crammed this thing because I'm the Jebu man that will go and negotiate 20 million MB Auto 500 GL. 20 million there. On that day, business was what? 15 billion. 204. No car. 212. Next car, 2019. Ake Adeshola here. I bought it on 60 days credit. For Iname Motors, 50 million. What? Land Cruiser. They, 150 billion. Valuation of assets. Is it the car that moved or the substance? Don't let people let image move you. I've not changed. The new Land Cruiser, my friend here, my good friend here is a car dealer. He always call me out of 10. Louis will say, George, don't you think he knows me, so he won't even ask me again now. I haven't changed the car. Not that I cannot afford it, but it's a diminishing asset. Is it still looking okay? Fantastic. I've not even done 30, 40,000 kilometers on the damn car. Why am I changing? Today, asset value, 250 billion. You think I can't afford a car? We should not be moved by image. We should not be moved by diminishing assets. We should be moved by productivity. Use that car money to buy something that creates money rather than the thing that takes the money away from you. If you build the right asset, build the right. And I'll give you an example. In 3 years, we did so well. My father will come to me and say, George, I think you should go and build a house. I looked at him. I think I must have given my chairman a lecture on that day on why he thinks we have done well. He didn't ask me again. 2 years after, or a year after, by the 4th year, he looked at me one day. We're in the car together going back to Ikeja. I said, George, now I understand you. My friends asked me again, why is your son not building his house? I said, now I know that boy. The day he wants to build a house, if they call the house 1 billion, go and look at the asset he has built. He will not buy the house without building the right thing. Now I don't worry again with you. It is not how quickly you buy a house or build a house. My friends built houses when I could, but I was building a business. And my first house didn't happen in Nigeria till 2009. And I've been in Nigeria since then, and I could afford it. But that was my first house. Second house didn't happen to 2017. It is not how many houses you build. It's what will continue to maintain those houses that matters. So, in final part, let us have whatever you do in life, whatever business work you do, please make sure something is inside it. Passion. If you don't see passion in yourself, in what you're doing, where you're working, what career path you are, it is not yours. Because you see, passion creates staying power. Even when it's difficult, you have believed so much, you're passionate about what you're doing, it allows you to stay. It allows you to make sacrifices for that business because you believe in it more than even what everybody is saying. Don't be defeated by issues around you. Your passion will drive you through. So in everything, a general opinion of others is one thing. Your belief and faith in the direction you're going, in the vision you're going, in where you're moving to, might not be seen by everybody. Most of the most successful people in the world, 99% of them, most of the people didn't see where they were going. People didn't believe they could get to where they were going. People don't believe I'm where I am today. But people don't believe that we have such a fantastic relationship with, I think, the best bank in Nigeria, BOI. I know, but I'm an ambassador, so I have to. Anyway, but we need to believe that where we're going is right. People, I used to, because I'm a risk player, people will tell you, your gearing is high. Your this is high. In those days, your guy, you're over leveraged, you borrow too much. Today, they will now say, thank God you did it, oh. If you did not do it, oh, you can't do it again today. Now, the same person. So, break the barriers that make people believe that your faith, your vision, your life is greater tomorrow than your today. And that is how we get there. That is how we grow from nobody to where and who everybody wants to know. It is not the number of friends you find today, not the amount of faji you do. If you don't, that prophecy in the Bible, which will be lovely, say, kete, kete, baba, kete, kete, and all of them, the person on the donkey, the son on the donkey, and the son get off the donkey. You know, the Pharisee of the parables of that is you can never satisfy the world. Focus on your own journey. Enter that marathon of life and have your own strategy. So that in that race, when everybody starts with you, and some of your friends are in front of you, some are behind you, you believe that at your time, God will lift you beyond others. God will take you beyond that race, and He will make you the winner of the race. And that is where you should see yourself. I thank you very much. I'm going to allow you all to have questions. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, I thank you for the honor again. But I'll allow you to ask questions quickly so I can also give you my own viewpoint back. So I know I've spent my 45 minutes plus 10. So, but I'm going to indulge Pastor here to allow us get some few people to ask some questions. We can quickly just answer it as quickly as we can.
If you want to ask the question, so you prefer to write it down, you can quickly write it down. We can collect it, it might be easier, so that he can read them and then answer. But while they are writing, if you have a quick question, not to deliver your own lecture, a quick question for 1 minute or so, we can give you the microphone right now. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. What I want to ask is about sharing your vision with your spouse or parents. If your vision, your spouse, the parents or your spouse, they don't actually know and understand your vision, how do you manage it?
Sorry, and this question might sound dumb. We're talking about vision and sharing it. What if you don't have an idea of what that vision is?
Okay. Any other person who has a quick question, just give to Madam.
Please, I have a school business before with my husband, and the business, all of them crumble, and I'm just left with just one, and that one is not my own property. So what can I do to develop a property for myself?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. A quick microphone. Okay.
As a young entrepreneur who is willing to start up a business, what is your advice to such person?
Okay, a young entrepreneur who wants to start a business. Cool? Okay. Yes, sir.
I have a long vision.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know how to.
Shorten it. Try and shorten it.
You want to write it down?
Uh-huh.
Maybe you should write it down since it's long.
Long.
If it's Dogo, write it down. Anything Dogo, write it down. Because I can combine Hausa with Yoruba at the same time. No Dogo trenchy for microphone, but in writing. Any other question? Yes. Deacon Tommy wants to ask a question.
I would like to get tips to overcome fear of the unknown? Because that has been my major fear.
What to do to overcome fear of the unknown?
Thank you for the lessons you've given us. I want to ask, mortgage versus savings, putting money together, little by little when you want to acquire or you want to build a house, which is a preferred option?
Yes.
Praise the Lord. My question is that, how can you manage a business and build your own business based on the economic downturn, the present economic challenges that we have?
Lisa, I would love to know how to forward to achieve your dream. Like you have this dream that you want to achieve, something you can do on your own, like you want to achieve it just like where you were saying most of how you started your business and all that. I'd love to know how to achieve my own dream of starting my own business, how to be successful as well.
Do you want him to repeat the lecture? If you want to know how to be successful, we have been told I have 21 points on my own. I've written down my own. I can repeat the lecture for you free of charge, but I'm not successful like the MD of Coleman. Anyway, yeah, I think the MD will answer you. Any other question? Are we done?
Okay, last one so I can...
Okay, one more question and we're done.
As a vendor in newspaper company, what are the things that you can make the company to going forward at the publication? I want to know what are the challenges to make the newspaper company.
You're a vendor or...
No, I'm working in news directly.
Okay.
Just talking about what can we do to make the company to move forward? Sir?
Okay.
You change your mind, okay? You will be the last person. Oh
yeah.
Got microphone?
Yeah, thanks, sir. I want to ask, like, those people that have business and the business hold up, like, I want to ask if it's advisable to start again. Like,
it is advisable now.
So
if you fail, try it again.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me try and go through the questions as quickly as I can. I still have one more here that's been written. Okay, 2 written. Okay, I'm going to start with the first question is sharing your vision and what if they don't understand. It's very simple. You resell it again. You resell it again. It is not the basis of whether they understand. It's how did you sell it? If I don't understand one thing one way, please try and explain it better. Maybe ask them what they don't understand. And keep selling it because you need them to buy in. A spouse that is not ready to say, Oga, because of your vision, we are not eating 2 meat. I will take 1 and share the rest into half for the rest of the family because we want you to get there. Doesn't understand it yet. But a spouse that does, you will not ask them to cut the corner for you. They'll even cut it better than you're doing. But you need them, male or female, to see it with you. But it's very important at the time when, I keep repeating the word, when it turns round in your favor, please don't forget these defenders. We have a bad culture of forgetting. We shouldn't forget. You know, I tell my wife till today, even if you vex me, because I cannot forget what impact she has made in my life. So for that reason, I owe it as a debt that I carry myself without her asking. I must take care of her beyond her dreams till she goes. and God says it's time. So you cannot get that if you have not sold it well enough. Don't assume that everybody, I've been in a business where nobody even saw what I was trying to do. You know, I've had a situation where a family member says, that man's thing is going to bankrupt all of us. But it's the same story that is now sold differently. Thank God that man did what he did. So don't get annoyed over people don't understand, don't see. Keep selling it. You must sell. Everybody that works for you, please, even in your workforce, sell your vision to them. It's not even about the household. If your workforce don't know your vision, in my place, everybody, I do town hall. Today we're over 600, we're taking on another 200, we'll be about 800. I'll literally stop the whole factory at 5 o'clock and tell them where we are going, myself. And I allow them to openly ask questions. So, and I've been doing that for 20 years. Because I need them to understand the journey, to know where we're all going, to sell the thing to them, to sell. If a manager comes to me today and says, okay, I don't understand where, I'll sit that person down and I might spend the next 1 hour, 2 hours explaining. It is not for me to assume because I'm the MD, the person must take it. If I'm not there, if they understand the vision, they'll carry it. Your workforce carries your vision. If you don't sell it to them, they will never carry it for you. Today, I can sit at home and go to work at 12 o'clock. Sometimes I don't. I'll be doing work from home. I just look at the figure. Italis. Because the vision is sold to everybody. And that blessing is blessing everybody. And we're one of the few companies where we profit share with all our staff. A percentage of our profit after tax goes to everybody, to the last person. It's a board approved. It doesn't need MD to, we must share that money. So it's not only me that is collecting money. We do well, all of us share it. So you must have a philosophy that literally pays back for what happens and what happens well. Vision, no idea. You know the simple answer to that? You're in the wrong circle. Change your circle. Vision is only, you know, if you put yourself in a circle of positivity, of like mind, you will see vision. If you put yourself in a vision where everybody tells you, it's not possible, it cannot happen, Tobashi or my fail, you will see failure. So there's nobody that should not have a vision. If you're not seeing it, change the circle of people you're around. They're not projecting the right thing you should be thinking about. Because you see, naturally we're the ones that think of our vision. Whether where we work, whether what business we do, we're naturally the people that are supposed to have that seed germinate from ourselves. Nobody can put vision on your head. It germinates from you. You are the seed to germinate what will grow it. If you don't and you cannot see it, it's difficult. I will tell you, change the circle. That circle around you is not positive enough. You know, it's like you saying you're praying. I can do prayer and fasting session. 40 days, 40 nights. If you don't see anything, you can't see you. You're wasting your time. You better start eating. So, if you are believing that that faith is there, believe me, you see, it's not how many days of prayer session you do. It is that spirit that has germinated already there, the seed, and then God says, I hereby bless your seed. You need that thing to happen. And you can only germinate it through the right places. Whether you're in church, whether at work, bring yourself the mindset of people that are as positive as you. If you're surrounded by negative, vision cannot come. Because all you see is the negative around you. Surround yourself with the right positive people, and vision will drive your spirit forward. Okay? School developed properties, businesses was developed, some failed. Look, If we don't try, we don't know. If we try wrongly, we will see. Experience irrespective whether it goes wrong or right. If any CEO or guy tells you he's got it right 100% of the time, he's lying to you. As I told you, I had my own blip. So if I form, that's my problem, but I'll be lying to you. Don't allow people to lie to you that life is a bed of roses. It's easy, it's straightforward. You're going to have ups and downs. The question is, do we learn from what we've had, the ups or downs? We should learn from it. It doesn't mean we should not try again. It only means we've learned from our past mistakes and we need to get it right. If your husband and yourself, you see, is good. Partnering is good. I'm not saying we should not do business with our spouses, don't get me wrong. You see, one thing I look for in partnership, I've been in a partnership in the UK now for 25 years. And the business is still running in the UK today. We're the only two of us that started it with 20,000 pounds of our savings in 1999. We're still partners still today. And not for not wanting to dissolve this partnership. But you see, don't ever partner with someone that is like you. If the person is as pushy as you, you both drive it to the... If the person is as docile as you, you still both drive it to the... You need a balance in life. Whoever you partner with, whoever you associate with, one person must be the pushy, one person must be the second here. And say, oh God, this is your pushiness. But someone must sound the alarm. Even if you don't have a partner, have someone within your business that will sound the alarm to you. Always have one person in that business. You will know them. No matter your business, someone would always be bold enough to sound the alarm. Don't let that person go. That's your God alarm that God has just given you. Let that person stay there. They might be pissing you off when they sound the alarm, but they need to be there. So you need that alarm bell to draw you back and pull caution. Because we cannot all be aggressive. I'm the fire it they go person. But I know the person in my office that is the alarm bell. And when it sounds alarm, I just laugh. Okay, he doesn't see it. But it will allow me to look again at what he's saying. And I have a couple of them. Even my madam in GM, my GM account. Short. The day I went to borrow 2.1, I won't say the figure, but she ran to my office the day the approval came. Empty. You are taking money again after all the thing we have said. Oh God, I say, oh Lord Almighty. I sat her down for almost an hour. Explained that, hey, you see, this is BOI. They gave us 2 years moratorium. By 2 years, this is where we will be. Project will be done. And this is how we can. After she heard all that, I said, okay. MD, you can go ahead. It didn't matter that she's my GM, but she's worried. Not for only me, but for the whole, because she understands the vision. It is my job to listen to those people that sound alarm, and also allow me to also to a bit more, put more caution. Because the alarm bell is my caution. So you need those people with alarm bell. Don't take them that they're stupid or they just need to be there. If everybody around you is just telling you, go, I beg. When you are dropping, don't let everybody around you be yes sir, yes ma'am. It's not a good thing for your business. So please don't run away. Look at your errors. Look at what happened from the previous one. Find the balance on this next one. Most importantly, in any business, don't spend as you receive. We spend too much as we receive. Please save 80%. Mine is hard. I did 98. But I tell people when I mentor them, put 70 please aside every year of your profit. Pay yourself a salary for God's sake. Don't just dip. Most people set up businesses and think, it's my property, it's my own now. Every money is my own. It's not. It's your business's own. You are an employee. Pay yourself a salary and stick to that salary. The rest goes back into the business. It grows you faster. At the point when that business is now saying, hey, this is my employee, it's time I give you good pay, you yourself will know. So don't be in a hurry to spend this money. Be in a hurry to save it, grow it. Fear of the unknown. If you have fear of the unknown, you are not an entrepreneur. Stick to 9 to 5. Seriously, because there's no business that is not a pool of risk. We are all not meant to be entrepreneurs. It is an assumption that everybody in Nigeria believes they all have to be entrepreneurs. It's not. You can be the most successful career person that becomes the MD of that enterprise because you charted your journey in that way. But at the day you retired, they paid you a lifetime sum that you can sit at home for. So it all depends on everybody's chart and direction and vision. It is not. Not everybody is a risk taker. Accept your own journey. If everybody is a risk taker, who is going to work for you? As I said, will be ED without employee. Because everybody wants to be the Oga. It will not happen. So accept what is your journey. But I'm sure those around him that are working for him can see their life when they retire being good. But that is their journey. So let's part our own journey. Managing your business managing business on the circumstance. I believe if circumstances change, I believe. Present economy. Hey. That one, I think, Pastor needs a whole new session. For me, and I think I was speaking to him earlier, we were speaking about some things. You see, a business person, an entrepreneur must always see tomorrow. It is our job to see tomorrow before everybody. It's our job to say to workers that want something today. If we do it today, tomorrow we cannot do it. You know, my father would say, "Mag bese to le gbe lola." I will not carry a step that I can't carry tomorrow. So if you tell me and I think of that first, I won't do it. Because invariably you motivate people when you do something and you can't do it tomorrow. So better take your step wisely. So the business economy today, I saw it. So I positioned. You know, when people say, what happened? I don't know. If I say this publicly, everybody will think I'm the one laughing out of this, smiling out of this whole thing. I had 0 exchange rate losses. Actually, I had exchange rate gains. I had no issues on the day it was happening. You know why? My good job or gift is analysis. And I think I do it a bit well. And I know that every day I thank God for that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of analyzing quickly. We had 3 people chasing presidency. And I don't know where people just listen to people talk without analyzing. Irrespective, LEP, 74, LEP. We are all jumping the jamboree but not listening. When you listen to the 3 of them talk, they spoke individually but simultaneously on the same thing. We will unify FX, 1. We will take off subsidy, 2. I don't know why people did not listen to all this part. They were listening to all the other jargons and didn't position their business for the 2 most important risks to their business. FX unification. Naira was 460 officially. Unofficially, all of us, officially, when those of us that could get any small money, which we didn't get, is 630 at the I&E window. Plus whatever goes underneath. I don't want to go that way, but let's just say we are not paying 460. Call it 700. Unofficially was about 750. And you see unification coming. And you didn't start preparing. Let me start taking my FX exposure down. Stop borrowing less. Start dealing in Naira. Whatever the Naira is, just dealing it. Buy your dollar at black market and close it. That was the position we started taking immediately. I saw it coming a year ago, 2 years ago. So I was prepared 100%. Find other alternatives to bring in FX, which we did. Then secondly, subsidy is going to go. Subsidy goes, you are buying fuel at 160 what? 5. And I take out subsidy. Me, I already saw 500 naira. So how does my worker come to work? I have 500 workforce. If I don't change their salary instantaneously and I have to wait for the government to change minimum wage, that means I'm going to lose half of my work. Either I decide to shut down half of the factory. So what do? 2 months before it happened, I bought 10 brand new BLT buses. I took a loan. I said, my workers will not come to work free of charge without a problem. Let me prepare for it. So there's 10 buses. So immediately, there's cost of coming to work turned from 200 to 500. Nobody changed. I didn't lose any worker. In short, I gained. Because now they had BLT brand new buses picking them, carrying them to Mowe, Shagamu. In short, everybody now thought BLT had become on the expressway because it's the same color, all branded the same way. So it is not the cost of me buying myself an equivalent brand new Land Cruiser. It is me preparing for what is supposed to happen, for my workers, for the business to continue. So please, we see the problems, but we don't prepare ourselves. We're busy preparing for other things that doesn't make sense, rather than preparing for continuity of the business when the crisis does happen. And why I saw that is 3 of them had said the same thing. Now, there was no way that any one of them that became president had to make that decision in the first 100 days. Why? Because if they don't, they cannot see the impact of whatever that savings is till year 3. And if they don't see it by year 3, they're losing their election. So those 2 decisions had to be made in first 100 days. That guy made it in 10 days. It had to be. I said it a few times. People said I was talking rubbish, so I stopped talking about it. So, but that's reality. They had to. Because the savings for that money, if I bring it back into this economy, it will take me 2-3 years to show you what I've done with the money. And it is only then you give me that vote. If I wait 1 year, he can't do it again. Because believe me, you all vote him out. Whoever won. Because you won't see it. I cannot build a house overnight. You cannot build road overnight. The impact that majority will see will take them 2 to 3 years. But if they do it well, believe me, you'll be voting head over feet for them. But if they got it wrong, they'll be voted out also. But I think we needed to, as a business, in any business you are in, don't just look at your business. Look at your surrounding. Look at the economics. Look at the figures, the finances. They say figures are going to go up. When MPR is increasing, inflation is increasing. Before inflation increases, this is simple economics. Inflation goes. The first thing most bankers and most economists will do is take interest rate to kill it. And when they do, so 2 years ago, what did I do? I started changing my business methodology. Let us go and become rated and go alternative market. Today, when the market is going up to 20-something, me, I'm taking money at 16. Because now I'm rated enough to go to the market and get money at lower than 7, 8, 9% basis point cheaper than the commercial bank. You need to prepare your business for tomorrow, not today. We spend too much time preparing our business for just today. Chop tomorrow. Finish tomorrow. Thank God. God, you have made another day. Hey, Lord Almighty. Let's stop doing that. We need to think of our tomorrow. A lot of my friends, when I was growing up, my parents sent me to school in the UK. And I said, God, if I have done this for them, for me, I must do this for my kids. So before I gave birth to any, I knew the day they were going to go to A-levels, they will go. So if I'm planning 16 years away, it's different from if I'm just going to go there, fire brigade. So if someone came to me, and some people came and say, year 9, send your kids. I said, sorry, it's not going anywhere. That is not my own vision. That is your own. I know some people that took their children in year 9 and came back by year 10. Because Naira moved from 220 to 450. We can't afford it again. Don't do it. Don't follow. By the time my own children, I was 3 years ahead of their pay. And I got it there, that whatever crisis happened, I'm 3 years ahead of the situation. So that whatever I'm covering will be 1 year gap. So Naira changes. I'll be looking like, yeah, I'm going to be fighting your case. Me, I bought money when it was 450. Whatever you do, it should not be a case of decision for just tomorrow. It should be a planned vision. When you plan your vision, it makes it easy for you to walk in without stress. You'll be hearing everybody shouting, and you'll be saying, but you know, unfortunately, sometimes you have to keep quiet. They say, tissue bad, you know. So you will not be shouting that your own is very okay. Because culturally we are told we shouldn't shout that it's okay. Otherwise, they were all thinking it's rosy. It's not rosy. Anyway, so that's achieving your own dream. I think I've said a lot about that. Every dream is only made possible by, as I said earlier, you need to have a faith in something that drives you. You know, your faith in God is the first driver. The second is your belief and passion in what you want to do. If you don't have passion in any work you do, please don't do it too. Because that's failed before you start. Something must drive you. Something must wake you up every morning that says, this thing I'm doing, no matter how difficult it is, I just love it. I just like doing it. I want to do it and I want to get it done. And that is how you push things through. And those are the things you need to do. So, business, I think Pastor has said about business entities and everything and how it happens. I think we've spoken a lot. Business folding up. I think I've spoken a little bit about that. But, you see, when a business folds up, we tend to go into two things happens. Either a business going up or a business sliding down. So a business might not fold up, but it's having a difficult scenario and it's going down the drain. It is very easy for us to follow it on that same path, for it to fold up, or not accept that our failure is destined to be that. You know, I had my own ups and downs. I'll be my own downtime. And I think at my worst point in time, I said to myself, this PC or debt, I hate debt to the point where I do. For me, I'm a visionary that carries the thing on my head. So if I've gone to Pastor Simon here and I've taken a debt, believe me, it's not Coleman he borrowed, it's me. I carry it in my head as if I personally took money from him. And it's my responsibility that the trust he has in me, I need to justify it every time I see him. So I'm a different person. So I carry my own debt as personal. Most people carry their debt as, shareholders, wahala. No, it's me. Which makes me fulfill everything to the latter because it is a debt that I entrusted on the business because I said so. And in between this crisis, when I got into a point whereby, we had no raw materials anymore, no working capital. Every bank had pulled up, told us we're a dead business, that they're going to throw good money into bad situation. And I got one day, and I said to myself, if I sell this business as a going concern, I'll exit everybody out of this problem. It will work. We'll be left with something. Most likely, let me go back to the UK and go and do 5 years work again and come back to this country. And I slept that day. And I woke up as if God slapped me off my bed. You think where I've been with you, it ends today? You better get up that backside and do what you know how to do. And I sat in my study, and in 4 hours, I wrote a total balance sheet of the solution. And I came back to the office, I called my CFO and said, look at this P&L, projections, sales, all the debts, 400 million, shake, this bank 2 years, this bank 4 years. The man looked at it I say, MD, I think you have a solution. And believe me, in 3 months, every bank, as I wrote it, agreed to the figure. Exactly. I didn't default for 1 day. And in 3 years, I cleared the 7 billion issue. You must have the faith that that God that you serve has something still for you. And the same business in 3 years grew 10 times more than even the 4 years of Wahala. And today, we are now a testimony to others to emulate. So, don't think that a business going down is the end. It means it's your time to dig in, check what went wrong, what can you do, how can you, it meant, God, I was tight on myself. It meant, seriously, I was tight. I literally had to cut my coat according to my size. Started flying less, flew airlines that were cheaper than wherever I can find. If it's only necessary, I flew. Told my wife, sorry, we can't travel, oh. You know, pastor said, you must have a spouse that sees it. You know, that year I didn't travel anywhere. So then we can't travel anymore. There's no money. I think the second year for my savings. And I was it's a testimony. My wife was the one that paid for the ticket. I didn't want to go. I said, but now I can't afford it. I said, I have a savings. I'll take us all on travel. You need to get out of this place. So that type of a woman, you forget? Thank you. Don't, man or woman, forget in any form of anger, form of issue. Please calm down when you remember those that were there yesterday. Because your today was only made possible by them making those things happen. So, in every business we struggle, but it's very important we find why we're struggling, we believe in our faith, we find a solution, and by His grace, you'll find the answer. And by His grace, it shall be our portion to be greater than tomorrow. That was yesterday. Thank you. Okay. Pastor has given me a few more to quickly answer. Okay, vision. I saw myself building houses. Amen to that one. And yes, build houses is good. Property is good. The ministry said, no, don't go and flash money on cars. But I have one issue with building houses. Don't rush to build a house because everybody told you so. Don't rush to build a house because you just want to join the Joneses. Save and build a house. I think it came out to the person that said save or mortgage. Thank you. I'm sorry I left that part out. Yes. Saving or mortgage. Sincerely, in Nigeria today, be careful. You know why I'll say be careful? When inflation is riding faster than your money of what you are saving, I won't save, I'll take the mortgage. Right? Reason being, if I have 100,000 naira now, inflation is running at 22.74% today, and it's most likely going to move up a little bit more before we see some stability, which means in real terms, my money that is 100,000 or 1,000 is less 22.7% in 1 year. So unless I can go to a bank that will give me 22.7%, which is impossible in Nigeria today at currently, even Nigeria's liquidity is too much now. There's a bit of too much money lying in the system, so nobody will give you more than 6%. If you are lucky. If you go to Tier 1 bank, they will even say 2%. So it is not worth saving. It is worth holding an asset that yields a greater than. So every time you hold any money, please think about what is the value of that money at the time. So if it's better to save, that means your inflation should be lower than your savings. Then it's good to save. If it's not, it's Nigeria, pick asset. If you can't pick an asset, I know they won't like me saying this. I better put it in foreign currency savings and keep it there. Because that foreign currency savings, when it moves, your money is holding value. You know, there's a simple part of economics. The real value of your money is the difference between the trading main currency, in this case the dollar, inflation rate, against your own. So if you subtract them from each other, so if I'm 22, I think today rates have dropped about 3% in the US today now. So if I take 22 from 3, what do we have? 19. So in the actual fact, Naira should devalue 19% after 1 year. If it doesn't, it's artificially there. It will still happen. So for those of us that know that, we prepare for that worst case scenario. If it doesn't happen year 1, we prepare for year 2. When it happens, we are ready. So in those cases, take assets that generate more than inflation. You're taking your mortgage, the capital appreciation on your building or land is faster than inflation in Nigeria. That's been our statistics. Rental is not rising that fast. So don't bother. The days when you used to say 10, your investment is 10x of your rent is gone. You can't use 10 times your renter to collect your money again. So it's changed. But your capital appreciation is faster. So take the capital appreciation on your assets. So I'll take a mortgage on. Okay? I saw myself preaching the word to God's people. That calling is good though. But it's not for everybody. That calling of God, God knows his people. If it's not your calling, don't leave your work. You know, I look at it that the calling of God is in different formats. Not everybody is meant to be on the pulpit. But in your way, you can serve God. Wherever you are, your spirit of what you're doing is serving God. If you're kind, you're doing kindness, you're sharing. You're also sharing his word and saying, the blessing that God has done in this man or woman, I can see it. I need to be attached to it. I need that same anointing. Where is his church? Where is he going? Where is she going? That is your God's anointing. So don't assume that your being on the pulpit is the only anointing. That one that I know Redeem pays some pastor. Not every pastor is buoyant too. So please, I better go to work first. Build your business so that you are not waiting for God. God even now wants everybody serving him to give more than they are even collecting. So I feel sorry for So you guys don't understand. Sometimes you should thank God. As they say in my own place, they say, there's this joke of Rose of Sharon. As they say, look, that your pastor that is fasting for all of you. I don't know what you people are doing. You people are just enjoying life. Because it's believed that the church is blessed. So they believe the pastor is just doing the work for all of you. But that is the blessing that is associated with the church. So we are all in a way, because you're saying that everybody would want to come to the church now. So we're all doing some part of the work. So in whichever way, your calling is different. Your calling can be where you are, what you're doing, what you're impacting. So it is not always a case of come to the pulpit. Learn the word, go to disciple classes, go to everything, but you will know whether it's your calling. Don't leave your work and say, I've gone to the Bible class, so I'm sure, and you then get sacked. I don't think Pastor Simon will be saying, I told you to go and get sacked, though. Abi? We want you to be part of the church. I'm part of Redeem. So I want to join ushering. I want you to join the workers team. I want you to, but there's no part of the church that tells you lose your path at work and lose your work to join the church. Your calling, when it's your time, you will know. And let it be the time of God, not your own time. I keep saying it. Time and what your calling is determined by God, not by man. So don't just think because you've gone to a disabled class, automatically I should become the parish pastor. It's not that working that way. Yeah? So please, follow your work part. When God sees it's your time, I'm sure you will be there. I saw myself building a church in my village, the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Amen. All my people say, if that is, if it's in your prayer and when it's your time, it would happen. But I keep repeating that word, when is your time? Don't go and take the children's school fees to go and start buying block. Oh, I don't think God said that. Oh, please do it at your time. I wish for God, my own belief in life in this, the act of kindness or giving for God is not for you to determine. It's God has given you before you gave it. That's my belief. When you want to give to God, it literally has given you. As you think of it, you find out that all of a sudden, that thing in your head, in your mind, that same week or the week after, you got 2 times the money. So when you have 2 times the money, is God not giving itself the money? So why are you keeping it? For me, I give according to my spirit. Because I give willingly. Because I know at the time I'm giving, He's already given me. So once you have your faith in that, you'll find that it is easy for you to see multiples and multiples and multiples. Because He's giving to you what you want to give to Him. So don't believe you are giving to God what you think you have. It's what He has given you that He allows you to give to Him. Because He will give you 2 times that amount before you actually say yes. Because it's already in your spirit that you want to give. So He's blessing you double to give. And me, He's always blessed me double. So every time I give, I get plenty. So don't believe that you're giving, or out of giving. So if it's in your mind at the time, when it's time, you will know. Because you will have made it possible that village, that thing you want to build in your village will be a symbol to God when it's its time to do so. And for a lot of us that believe that God's time for us on this earth is to do kindness, He would continue to make it possible for you to give that mercy out without a problem. And build an estate, I pray to God to come to pass. Building an estate, not a house. But vision is good. But vision also needs to be practical. A practical vision is possible. Are you on the path to being able to build a house before an estate? Question. If you are, good. If you're already on the path of building houses, so shall you build estates. But you need to make sure that whatever you're doing is on that path. You're saving, you're making sure your projects are going right. Importantly, you're building and making sure people that buy your houses are not buying rubbish or they're not buying disaster. Look, I have some philosophies and things, in us, sometimes we don't have philosophy in life or principles in life. Principle in life is one thing I believe in. I have 2 simple principles. One says, I will not do any business. Whenever I'm doing a business, I think about a door. If anything means that someone cannot knock my door with a smile, I can't open it with a smile, that business is dead. I'm not doing it. The second one is the hardest one of my principle, and it keeps me here till today. I would not do any business in my life that in the chain of me doing it, someone somewhere, one person is going to share the tear. That business must not happen. One person. I didn't say a whole big one. And not the person I'm dealing with. In the chain of my business, if I think the eventual thing that will happen, maybe that thing will lose money, that guy will lose money, and in between him will lose money, his workers will start crying. We're not doing it. So, have a principle that guides your business. When you do, a lot of things will happen in the right way. If there's no principle, sincerely, the day you lose badly. But the day you lose and God believes your loss should be replaced in multiple, your principle will be the guiding grace that takes you back into multiples. have something that stands you out. Don't say everybody's doing it that way. I must do my own too that way. Principles guide us to get to where we want to get to. And it also saves us because we've kept those principles right. So keep some very good guidelines and principles. And I pray by God's grace, everybody that has listened will hear and will gain from this. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Pastor Simon. Thank you, Pastor Mrs. Aaron for the time. And thank you to the church for your time.